All right, hello everyone. Can you see that like unobstructed? Okay, awesome. My name is Lauren, and I'll be talking about my role as a sustainable technology research intern for Sustainable Carolina this semester. So first, a little bit about Sustainable Carolina. Sustainable Carolina was launched in the fall of 2020 as the university's initiative to enhance sustainability on campus and to meet its 3 zeros goals, which are first net zero waste or net zero water usage, and then net zero waste to landfills, and then net zero greenhouse gas emissions. And their mission statement is working to build and balance societal well-being, ecological integrity, and economic prosperity now and into the future. So my mentor this semester was Melanie, and she is a sustainability analyst. Her official job title is sustainability analyst for Institute for the Environment, but she also works for Sustainable Carolina. And I feel like I was really able to connect with her this semester through our weekly discussions about my weekly research topics, and also because she graduated from UNC last year. Go Tar Heels. So a little bit about my role and responsibilities for this position. My overarching goal was to create an updated edition of an emerging technology review for the Institute for the Environment and for Sustainable Carolina. And an emerging technology review is basically just a document that has compiled categories of new and emerging technologies in different sustainability fields that could be applicable either now or in the future to UNC. So this just involved researching those new technologies and analyzing their potential for use here at the university. I covered multiple subjects throughout this semester. I actually kind of covered a lot. I did alternative fuels, carbon capture, energy storage, solar energy, water conservation, flood mitigation, recycling, composting, and anaerobic digestion. So I researched so much and was able to do about one topic every week or two. So I was able to dive like a little bit deep into some subjects, but definitely not into the whole area of each. So the methods that I use in order to tackle such a broad spectrum of topics was I would start by reviewing news publications and research articles, and also see what other universities are up to in terms of projects with sustainable technologies. And I would use that as a starting point to identify different types of technologies. Then I would research and record specifications of that technology, which can include financial costs, facility and space requirements, development stage of the technology, installation and maintenance, financial barriers, etc. And I would record that as well as its success at other universities, if it's had any, then evaluate the feasibility for use here at UNC, then summarize all that info and make a recommendation for that specific technology, whether it has potential at UNC or it needs further research and monitoring, or if it's just likely not going to work here. So going into some highlights from my topics, found some really cool algae-based biofuel projects for alternative fuels. There's several different universities that are doing labs on this currently. You can see UC San Diego's here is pictured. And this is really cool because it can give more energy than current biofuels, and it can be grown using recycled waste, but it's still pretty expensive at $10 to $33 a gallon. So this one is going to be one that UNC will watch for the future and get that evolving research as it comes. Next, for carbon capture, this was one of the highlights of my semester, was finding the city trees model. Basically, this is like a 13-foot tall, 9-foot wide, 6-foot deep structure made out of wood and moss, and it captures carbon as well as some other toxins like nitrogen dioxide and ozone. It's completely renewables powered. It can also be used to display information. And so at $25,000 per unit, which is pretty cheap for technology like this, you might see these on campus in the future. As far as energy storage, this was one of the challenges of my semester just because there was so much technical language surrounding batteries and energy. So this one I really had to dive into and give it a little bit more time to kind of self-teach the basics of that and understand all the lingo. So looking into the future, UNC might explore some liquid electrolyte batteries like the zinc one pictured here by Primus Power, or some iron phosphate batteries as alternatives to lithium-ion batteries, which are the traditional kind of batteries used. So just looking for alternatives to that to minimize the explosive risk. As far as water conservation, this is a technology that we already have on campus, which is green roofs, which is basically a layer of vegetation over a layer of waterproofing. We already have several around campus, as you can see, and they help with heating and cooling as well as water recycling in the building. They also help capture the rainwater to store in cisterns under campus. So as far as this goes, I found a lot of information supporting our continued use and development of this, installing more on campus in the future and maintaining the ones that we already have. For recycling and composting, I was looking at, if you look at up in the top left corner, installing these electric composters in dorms, and then another metal box type for you down there in the bottom right-hand corner is a micro digester, which would produce biogas for us using yard and food waste. This was a little challenging because micro digesters are like the in-between size. Usually digesters are really, really big or really, really small. So that was another research challenge, was kind of finding one that might fit the specifications of UNC. As far as my overall experience with all of this, number one, of course, I definitely got research skills this semester. I developed my independent research skills, including skills reviewing technically dense documents with direction of open-ended research objectives. Then I also developed my time management because I had to self-schedule my research time each week to meet my weekly goals before my meetings with my mentor. As far as campus info goes, I really gained some campus-specific knowledge of our sustainability projects and facilities like the green roofs and the rainwater cisterns. And then I also gained some general information in these categories where I found out all these new emerging technologies that I personally had never heard of before. So that was really cool, just seeing kind of what's coming out commercially as I'm entering the job field as a senior was really cool. Then sustainability, I was able to kind of learn what sustainability goals look like in execution in the physical world, both before, during, and after, which was also good for my future job search. And then finally, I made some really good connections with my mentor and her other Sustainable Carolina coworkers. And so as a conclusion, I would like to say thank you to Melanie, and thank you to the Institute for the Environment and EcoStudio for a great semester.